All right, in this video, I'm going to build off kind of what I said in the other one about bending the spine, and what works for someone might not work for you. Everyone's taught, especially like in a business. Running a business, it's all the marketing, how to get clients and things. Oh, this one way to do this, or the 5 exercises you need to jump higher or run faster, or all these one size fits all things. And or you got the camps that say Olympic lifts are terrible, never do Olympic lifts, or the camps, the Boyle camps that are only do unilateral lifts, and the never move your spine crowd, and all these things like trying to fit one size fits all. Like, it's not gonna work. Doesn't work. I'm gonna even say this: my stuff might not work for you. I'll give you an exercise or something like that. I might program a back squat. That might not be the best for you. Maybe it's a front squat. Maybe it's a split squat. Or like even that. Maybe a unilateral squat, a split squat is worse than a bilateral squat. Oh no, who knew that? That's got everyone, the unilateral folks, all quaking in their boots because supposedly unilateral is the greatest thing on earth, and never it doesn't actually load your spine because it's unilateral. But what if I've worked with people who've it's bothered their spine. I've had problems where it's bothered my spine too. If you're gonna load things up heavy, it's gonna compress your spine. That's just a fact of life, especially with you're doing like a barbell safety bar. That's gonna compress your spine. So no matter if it's unilateral or bilateral, it's still putting stress and strain on your spine. So it's but some people might work for you, some people it might not. Some might work, both of them might work. So again, there's no one way. There's nothing that's just going to work for everyone. That's what everyone's looking for, that magic pill, and people think they find it with those Ozempic and all this crap. Then they don't. Then they realize, oh, I'm just getting. I look like a hollowed out skeleton with skin on it, because they don't actually eat well or don't train or losing everything, even the fat and the muscle, and now I just look like a meth addict, who's just super skinny or whatever, a skeleton with skin, like I said. But we're everyone wants everything to work, and like that's the thing. When I work with people, I have some great ideas. I think this might be a good. Then it's a few weeks and it's like that. They're like, oh, that's bothering my knees or my ankles or my back or whatever it may be, or I'm just not comfortable doing that, and that's totally fine. That's what it's all about. That's about it's experimentation. It's learning. It's trying different things and figuring out what works for you specifically, because it might not work for you, and that is totally fine. In some coaches just have trouble admitting that they can't be wrong. I have no problem admitting I am wrong. I've been wrong on many things. I've changed things over my 6 years of coaching, from when I started, or even my training journey. Used to swear by certain methods, like West Side or whatever. I was in that huge West Side, and it was, I don't remember if it was triphasic first, before West Side. Even before that, it was just like bodybuilding stuff, and just it's like, yeah, it worked. But then I was always hurt. I was always banged up. I was slow and weak. Or I was strong, but I was weak in playing baseball. Still, I was always injured. I blew up my hamstring 3 years in a row, and I was lean, but I wasn't healthy because I wasn't eating enough food. And things like that. In all these methods, you go through your journey, and you learn what works for you. That's what it's about, finding what works for you. Because, yeah, this program might be great for someone, but it might not be work for someone else. Or this coaching cue might work well for someone, but telling a kid that's not going to work for them because they don't understand it. We were just playing a game yesterday and with the youth kids, and in this group I have my 4-year-old nephew and another young kindergarten was like 5 or 6, and then it was we were it was like head, shoulder, knees, toes, and there were 3 cones: a red, a green, and a yellow, or something. 3 colors. I think those are colors. And we did 6 kids in a circle. One on there's an inside, 3 on the inside, 3 on the outside, and I'd give them different like signals. I'd say head, shoulders, knees, toes, something like that, or I'd say a color of a cone to grab, or I'd say move to your left, move to your right, switch, and then they switch spots. But I wasn't realizing that these little guys don't know their left and right yet. So again, what works for someone else might not work for everyone else, and you gotta kind of know. And that's part of becoming a coach. That's coaching is learning and figuring out. And you as someone who's training or working out or just trying to live a healthier life, you got to find out what works best for you. Because you see me training and my way of training, being athletic, doing sprinting, jumping, cutting, rolling, crawling, lifting heavy, lifting fast, lifting heavy weights. That works for me. That works for a lot of people. I truly think it's the best way to train is training athletically, incorporating athletic type movements into your training, and things like that, and hitting all these different positions and ranges of motion. But that might not be your thing, and that's fine. You might be a yogi and want to just stand in one spot and bend and move in all these different ways. That's not my thing. Yeah, I'll do some yoga type stuff, but I like to move around. I don't like to stand in one spot or be in one spot or be with a million different people either. I don't like the CrossFit. I don't like going. I did that CrossFit style where you're going balls to the wall, and I just realized that's not for me either. Because or group classes, that's not for me. That might be for you. That's totally fine. Again, we're all different. There's no one size fits all when it comes to building the best version of yourself. But we get caught into these perfect programs, and you see all these people marketing their gimmicks online. Yes, I market and try and sell my stuff, programs, and maybe use clickbaity stuff at times to get people to read or watch or subscribe or whatever it is. But I'm never going to tell someone that my way is the only way to do something. You might like it, you might not, and that's you. That's your thing. What exercise I give you might, like I said, maybe we're trying different things, but might not work. We do a new game, maybe it doesn't work. I've had plenty of things that I thought were a good idea that just were not good ideas, especially for games, or activities or challenges in training. So, or exercise I try myself, I'm like, seeing exercise, I'm like, that looks pretty cool. And then I realized it sucks. Like I was mentioning before with the going from like West Side, and yeah, West Side I got pretty strong. But I wasn't getting faster because I wasn't doing any sprints or anything like that, or jumps, or triphasic. I did like this I think it was like a 16-week baseball triphasic thing where you got your eccentrics, you got your isometrics for 2 weeks, and then you got your concentric, your power, and then you do the percentages for that whole time. And I didn't get any better. It was a lot. It's just a lot of focusing on, I think, a lot of for me, the wrong type of things, like too numbers based, so to speak, and I'm sure that stuff works for a lot of people. Whereas West Side works for those big powerlifter guys who are all jacked up on roids and things like that. Yes, I take aspects, and that's the thing I learned through these is take aspects of them. Take the West Side. I kind of like to conjugate the a heavier base day and then a more power based day, but it's not necessarily doing the same types of exercise all the time that they do, or the ones that are working on just the powerlifting. It's more athletic based. Or triphasic, it's taking eccentrics and isometrics and concentrics, but not focusing them on that to do in a specific order, because I didn't think that worked well for me. I didn't see the best results on doing that and just the percentage base. So, but there's taking those and then experimenting them and exploring and putting them into my program and finding what does work for me. Or you take things from my program and another program or things you've done in the past and find what works for you. This could be training. This could be nutrition. Nutrition especially, that's even more specific to you. How much protein works best for you. How many carbs or fats or what foods you like. Do you like more carbs or do you like more fats? And dialing all this stuff in, or your lifestyle. It's just so nuanced, and we think that just this one way is going to be best for everyone. No, it's not. And nutrition is, yes, even more specific to each individual person. Maybe you don't like certain foods. Maybe you're allergic to foods. And this is going to change throughout life too. You might develop an intolerance, or you might try new food. I like that, or whatever it may be. Or, I've been eating a ton of protein for a while, and maybe it's just not doing anything extra, so you cut back. Or at certain points in life, maybe more carbs are better for you, or more fat, whatever it may be. The specifics aren't the important right here. It's that you know that you are different. You are an individual, and what necessarily works for someone else might not work for you, but it could work for someone else. And that's not to say things are wrong or right, because again, no one way to do anything. Even like math problems, you look at math problems. There's not one way to. There's a teaching math now in like third, fourth grade. It's so much different than when I was younger, but it just shows that there are multiple ways to get to the answer. There are multiple ways to find the best nutrition plan and find what works for you. There's no one size fits all. It's about, again, experimenting, learning, growing, failing, trying different things, and not just trying it for like once or twice. It's doing it over a period of time and finding what works for you. Again, training, nutrition, learning, work, whatever it may be. Being coached, everyone's different. We all respond differently. If your body might respond differently to different foods than mine is. Some people might be able to eat. Some people can eat crap, like these elite athletes. They eat junk, and they're shredded, and they can perform. If you're like me, you eat crap, or you feel like crap, and then you're taking a crap. Because my body's been accustomed to eating quality real food for the last few years now. And if I don't feel like the greatest. Or I go out to eat and you're like, oh, what did they cook that in? And then you're sitting on the toilet the rest of the day, or whatever. So, and that's not fun. So you got to learn and figure out what works for you. It's okay to be the person who wants to eat healthier and doesn't want to eat junk all the time. Again, find what works for you. And it might not be what works for me, and that's totally fine. My methods might not be best. My training style might not be the best for you, but that's my job as a coach, is to help you find what works for you, and help you figure that out. Yes, you can do it by yourself. I think there's a lot of benefit in that, but if you someone who doesn't want to put all that extra time in and wants to take some of that extra stress off yourself, that's when hiring a coach who's going to do that will help. Not just saying, oh, here's that cookie cutter program that worked for these other people, it's going to work for you, but then you try it and you do it and it doesn't. So but even bad programs, you can get good results if you're consistent and you work hard and things like that. But so what works for someone else might not work for you, and I think it's okay to admit that. I admit that with my stuff. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that kind of gets you thinking and gets you working and knowing that it's all right. If something didn't work, that's fine. Move on, find what works, keep striving, because that's what it's about. It's about learning and growing and experiencing life and finding what works, whether it's training, nutrition, sleep, your work, your athletic career, whatever it may be. Find what works for you, because might not be what works for me or a million other people. So, and that's totally fine. But thank you for watching again, guys, and we will be back to talk again soon. Be athletic for life.